Listeners, Piotr Stankovic has written a new book called The Manual of Reformed Stoicism. A modern take on Stoicism, dropping a lot of the metaphysical positions of ancient Stoicism. If you would like to get a discount on this book, you can use a special Sunday Stoic listener code SUNSP30. That's SUNSP30 at checkout on the link on the show notes. Or go to vernonpress.com and look for the Manual of Reformed Stoicism, code SUNSP30.
Wisdom,
Prudentia,
justice,
Justitia,
temperance,
Temperantia,
courage.
Fortitudo.
Applying ancient philosophy to modern life, this is the Sunday Stoic.
Welcome to the Sunday Stoic Podcast. This is Steve coming to you from the bunker in Conway, Arkansas. Why the bunker? Well, why shouldn't we be in a bunker? Have you watched the news? Everywhere I look, there's forms of panic, insecurity, stock market crashing, lack of toilet paper in the store, lack of food, whatever. It's a strange place we're in. It happened very rapidly. Things went to hell. All because of a tiny microbe. I think there's a Stoic lesson there. However, I think we as Stoics can learn not to overreact. We know our place. We know not to believe the nonsense that people may throw out there. We know not to run around panicking that it will accomplish nothing. We know to keep our heads. We know to test our impressions. And we know how to persevere. Or at least if we were sages, we would do all those things. But we're trying, damn it. So here we are, the Sunday Stoic Podcast, a podcast that explores the application of ancient philosophy to modern life. And today I want to talk about COVID-19, the coronavirus, and how it's impacting our lives. How would a Stoic, a good, fully fledged Stoic, react in these times? What would they do? And if they caught the coronavirus, how would they act? I think the best place to start is from hearing from the big three late Stoics on their advice on how to deal with the coronavirus. The Discourses of Epictetus, Book 3, Chapter 10, on bearing illness. Now is the time for thirst, bear it well. Now is the time for hunger, bear it well. Is it not in your power? Who shall hinder you? The physician will hinder you from drinking, but he cannot prevent you from bearing thirst well. And he will hinder you from eating, but he cannot prevent you from bearing hunger well. But I cannot attend to my philosophical studies. And for what purpose do you follow them? Slave, is it not that you may be happy, that you may be constant? Is it not that you may be in a state conformable to nature and live so? What hinders you when you have a fever from having your ruling faculty conformable to nature? Here is the proof of the thing. Here is the test of a philosopher. For this is also a part of life, like walking, like sailing, like journeying by land, so also is fever. Do you read when you are walking? No. Nor do you when you have a fever. But if you walk about well, you have all that belongs to a man who walks. If you bear a fever well, you have all that belongs to a man in fever. The Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, Book 10, Number 3. Whatever happens, either you have strength to bear it, or you have not. If you have, exert your nature, and never murmur at the matter. But if the weight is too heavy for you, do not complain. It will crush you, and then destroy itself. And here you are to remember that to think a thing tolerable and endurable is the way to make it so. Moral Letters to Lucilius by Seneca, number 78, on the healing power of the mind. You will die, not because you are ill, but because you are alive. Even when you have been cured, the same end awaits you when you have recovered. It will not be death, but ill health that you have escaped. I recommend you check out the reading by Epictetus in its full glory. It's pretty good. He's recommending that, one, just like getting ready for the Olympics, we prepare for illness. We remember what it's going to take. We remember that we might not make it, so live accordingly, and not panic when you do get ill. And also, we have to remember our role. Remember, Epictetus is a big fan of telling us to think about how to ethically live by thinking about the roles we play in life. They're very important to Epictetus's philosophy. What is the role of a dad? To take care of their children, right? What is the role of a soldier? To fight for their country. What is the role of someone with a fever? To bear illness well. And it's important to remember that your role will transition should you become ill. You have to let go of the other crap that was part of your roles, or things you thought you had to do. Oh, I have to go to that meeting. I have to travel. I have to do this. Nope. Your role is to get in bed and bear your sickness well. That is now your role. To leave is to be illogical, to not be a good, just human part of society, because to leave is to then infect your fellow humans. And so your role is to lay down, bear sickness, and you're going to miss out on that meeting. You might miss out on that business deal. You might miss out on this or that. But your role has suddenly changed. He says, you might lament, oh, I can't do my readings. I'm sick. Your role now is to be sick. If you were going for a run, you can't read a book while you run. Now, in modern days, you can listen to an MP3, sure, but you can't read a book while you run. Just like you might not be able to read a book when you're laying there with a fever. You won't be able to go to work when you have a fever. Your role has changed. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that, hey, we can bear this, and if we can't, it'll snuff itself out, and we along with it, but it will end one way or another. Maybe not comforting for some, but a good reality check nonetheless. He also says, to think something bearable makes it so. So if you're pretty sick, but you think, I can bear this, well, you probably will, right? You won't complain as much, at least. And then Seneca jumps in with, you will die. But he reminds us, much like Socrates reminds us, we're going to die. If we get over an illness, it just means that we live a little longer. It doesn't buy us immortality. Like Socrates says, you would think that some of these people who get pardoned think they've been granted immortal life. No, you've just been granted an extension before your execution. It's coming anyway. So when we're ill, we have to remember to bear our illness well. That we may end, but we might not. But eventually we will. So don't get too worked up either way. But at the same time, for those of us who are not ill, we have to bear this new situation we may find ourselves in. This situation where things have changed. Hey, your role has changed. My role has changed. My role as an educator has changed. In one day, I went from teaching a class, and then I got out of class that day. It was still in the middle of the workday. Got an email that said, we are switching to online teaching starting now. And so all the students fled campus. I'm still expected to come to work, but now I'm trying to figure out how to educate students online in a way that I've never done before. Meanwhile, the grocery store is not loaded with the material goods that I'm used to them having. The material things that I'm used to being able to grab are no longer available, or they're far more scarce. That's different. My retirement portfolio, my 401k has lost thousands of dollars in the blink of an eye. things have changed very rapidly. My role has changed. The Stoics would say, none of this is in your power. Your power is to do what you need to do well, to live well, to bear it, and to die well if necessary. And that's where we find ourselves. Stoics don't go to the store and buy all the toilet paper. They buy a few rolls if they need it. They buy what they need if they can find it. They make do without if they need to. And they have trained themselves to be okay. We'll be okay. You'll be okay. I'm thinking of you. I hope you are well. Wash your hands. Isolate yourself if needed. Stay out of large gatherings. And let me know where you are and how things are where you are at. Send me an audio file. I'll put it on the next show. Send me an email, and I'll write back to you. But we're okay. You'll be okay. And I'm thinking of you. And I'll catch you next week on the Sunday Stoic Podcast. If you want to support the show, go to www.patreon.com/SundayStoic. But until then, seize the day. This is our chance to shine. Carpe diem.
Thank you for listening to the Sunday Stoic. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe, rate, and review the Sunday Stoic on iTunes. Become a member of the Sunday Stoic team, earn rewards, and be an integral part of the show by becoming a patron at www.patreon.com/SundayStoic. Contact the show by emailing sundaystoic@gmail.com or by leaving a voicemail at 501-503-3132. To find out more, visit www.sundaystoicpodcast.com.